What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson for the Sports Screen on a Monday night. Got my man John Shear, Blue Hawks 13 in the building. And unfortunately, this guy, Jesus Christmas. Mike Caratanudo, the left coast, the west coast, y'all already know. Dallas Cowboy fan, he in the building. Thank God I got my co-host Ray Lynn with me because I don't know if I can handle these two gentlemen over here tonight. This one and then this one, especially down here.
Bro, I got kicked out for a minute. I don't even know what happened.
I don't even know what happened. I was like, Ray, why you leave me, dog? Don't do this to me tonight, man.
Who knew about the Dallas Cowboys Wednesday? I tried telling you. Tried telling you this smelled like blowout city.
Okay, goodbye.
You also told us he also said Miami was going to. I mean,
right. You lucky they didn't get blowout like TCU, but we won't get into that tonight.
Hold on. Why don't you go and pull that screenshot up that said they're going to get beat by 50? Somebody said a 50 burger. And so why don't you stop running your lips, Raylan, because you said 50 burger. Like, stop.
I don't know. I mean, what does that mean? Like,
you said we were going to get beat by 50.
Yeah, but that's hyperbole. You really thought they were going to win.
No. Don't give me that nonsense.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey,
Eric, please, Eric, get the show.
I know. I'm moving. We are moving.
Yes, Eric, get it going. We don't need to.
I don't want to hear you, Mike. Just you know.
I've said nothing.
He has every right to run his lips.
I have done nothing.
Tom Brady.
John,
what have I done? Nothing. I'm just waiting to start, man.
We are starting with our wild card weekend peak performer of the week, and I'm going straight to my co-host, the one and only, the sports reporter without pay, and ball don't lie's own, Mr. Ray Lynn. Ray, talk to me, brother. Who is your peak performer of the week, sir?
Brock Purdy. Like, it has to be, man. Like, again, I said this about Shanahan being coach of the year, right? You have your first string quarterback who shouldn't have been the first string, but Trey Lance gets hurt. Jimmy G comes in, San Francisco's rolling, he gets hurt. And then you bring in Mr. Irrelevant, and the kid just been balling out. And he looked like a Mr. Irrelevant 6th round quarterback that's not supposed to be in the game for the first half. And then he just turned up. Like, he turned up like for a kid who's not supposed to be on the field, probably didn't expect to be on the field at the start of the season, is now the starting quarterback for a contender, for a team that many people think can win the NFC, right? He goes out and puts on an absolute show. Like, shout out to Brock Purdy, man. He did his thing. Like, three something and 3 touchdowns, something like that. I didn't even look up the exact numbers. I watched the game. He was balling out, man. Shout out to Brock Purdy.
Right, he was 18 of 30. He only threw 30 attempts. He completed 18, but 3 touchdowns. You're right, no picks.
Yeah, hold on, but listen, 18 completions for 300 yards.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, no, 100%.
We'll take it.
All right, Mister. I've had enough. Can I just say really quick before we even move any forward? I have had enough of Cowboy fans today. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. Living in the 813. I was blessed and honored to be able to go to First Take this morning and be up there with Stephen A., with Molly, with Michael Irvin, with Troy Aikman, with Dan Orlovsky. Derek Brooks was there. Will Packer was there. I mean, but just to see the amount of just Cowboy Nation show up in Tampa, I didn't know if I was going to survive. Let me be completely honest. But with that being said, let me go ahead and get my brother, my man, Mike Caratanudo. Mike, who is your sir? Wildcard weekend peak performer of the week.
Well, I mean, I'm going with Saquon Barkley. I mean, sticking with the most terrible division in football, Eric. I mean, it's a horrible division. It's junk. The Giants got a lucky start. The Commanders got a lucky start. The Eagles were supposed to be good. People thought the Cowboys, all our rivalry aside, Eric, were supposed to be good, but the division's terrible. The Eagles or Cowboys will run away with it. But Saquon Barkley, to get to him, look. I know Daniel Jones led them in rushing, but the carries Saquon had early, even out of the passing game, you saw it. And Minnesota's defense, yeah, that's a story. That's a story for later. I know we're going to get to that. But this man healthy, the first 5 weeks of the season, led the NFL in total yards, stayed healthy all year. We knew Brian Daboll could coach offense. He had the man in Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones, hey, the Vikings defense don't want to account for you. Awesome. But what Barkley was able to do early on in the passing game, Eric, to me, and then obviously running the ball as well, like, to me, it's absolutely why he was my peak performer, because everybody thought, all right, there's no way the Vikings are going to win on a 61-yard field goal this time, but they're at home. It's the playoffs. They can't lose to the Giants. Saquon Barkley boosted Daniel Jones's performance. That's my guy. Plus, he went to Penn State.
Yes, Ray.
Mike picked the guy that had 9 rushes for 53 yards as his peak
But
performance.
it's the impact, man. And what did he do in receiving? It's
He
the
did a lot
impact.
of
Nobody
He had 5 receptions for 56 yards.
Right, but nobody. It's the impact. Nobody accounted for Daniel Jones on a lot of those runs. And when he went play action to Saquon Barkley, how wide open was he? Defense terrible or not, that's his impact.
Mike, I hate you sometimes.
Plus you took Brock Purdy. You took Brock Purdy
Yeah,
anyway. It's like in class, you raise your hand first.
I know you could have took the quarterback who was the first quarterback with 300 yards, 70-plus rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
you could
but
have took that guy.
Somebody else already took him before me, man.
You should have pre-picked the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, Micah Parsons in the first half.
Don't pick the kicker for. Don't pick the kicker for the Cowboys. He just missed his 4th extra point.
Yeah, why are they not? Mike, do me a favor. Call the man who shares the same name as you, McCarthy, and tell him stop kicking an extra point and go for 2.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's still a 3-score game, right?
Technically, yes. Yeah, technically it is.
I mean, it would be.
Tampa is down.
I've never seen him kick this back. You're right.
24-0.
Yeah.
So let me get to my surprise pick, or I'm sorry, my peak performer, if you will, of the week. And this brother, I'm sorry, it has to be Trevor Lawrence. This is a man who threw 4 interceptions in the first quarter and some change of the first half of the game. And then how does he respond? He throws 4 touchdowns. And the fact that the Chargers didn't put up anything but 3 points in the entire second half, like where was that defense? Joey Bosa is supposed to be like him and his brother, the Bosa brothers are supposed to be like these big defensive, like just juggernauts. And Trevor Lawrence was like, no, I'm number 1 for a reason, baby. Well, let me show you what I can do. I mean, again, I'm always going to say this. Shout out to the coach. Shout out to Dougie P for doing his thing and letting that man settle in and not pulling him in a playoff game. Trevor Lawrence was like, okay, I got this. I threw 4 interceptions. Now watch me throw 4 touchdowns. And then, the kicker doing what was necessary at the end of the game. This is what classic moments in NFL are made of. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, I feel for Justin because he had a true opportunity, and we're going to talk about the Chargers a little bit later. But by far, Trevor Lawrence is my peak performer of the week, man. So let me get the last brother in here, John Spear. Who is it, John?
First of all, I mean, Ray, I just got to ask you this. Which is worse? Is it Mike with Saquon Barkley, or is it Eric with a guy that threw 4 interceptions, 3 in the first quarter, 4 overall? I get he threw 4 touchdowns and they came back. They had to have every single thing break their way. They had to have Bosa have a mental breakdown. They have everything. And he picks a guy that throws 4 interceptions.
Hey, John, I can't.
As bad as picking Barkley.
No, I can't rock with you on that one. Only because he threw them in the first half, and then he bounced back to have that's a moment you can sink or swim, and he swam. I'm not mad at the Trevor Lawrence pick for how he bounced back.
I don't get it.
You get it.
You had half of a,
You wish your quarterback could have bounced back and threw 4 touchdowns in the second half.
If our quarterback played, we would be Buffalo.
Wait, did Saquon Barkley not have over 100 yards of offense?
We're not doing this with you, Mike. We not even.
Okay, the fact you can't see the impact, I don't need to do it with you. I don't.
I never realized how good of an agitator Mike is.
The quarterback had 400 yards of offense. What are we talking about?
Oh my God!
4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Okay, John.
4 picks.
We'll keep this conversation going.
We'll go with the real, because the Purdy one, all of them were just ridiculous that you guys picked. Daniel Jones is the only one that makes sense out of these 4. Look what Daniel Jones did. Over 300 yards passing, over 70 yards rushing. I believe he was the first player in postseason history to have over 300 yards, a rushing touchdown, I believe a passing touchdown, and 70 rushing yards. I believe he was the first player ever to do that in a postseason game. So he has to be the peak performer. I mean, I expected the Giants to win, but I didn't expect them to win because of him. I think we all expected Barkley to carry the load and the defense to play relatively well. I don't think any of us expected Daniel Jones to ball out like this. Like what Dable has done with Daniel Jones has been phenomenal. And then what Daniel Jones has done himself, I can't take credit away for how well he's played for the Giants this year, how well he played in this game. Like Daniel Jones was absolutely tremendous. And if I'm an Eagles fan, man, like I'm gonna be nervous on Saturday night. Like,
watch your lips.
Man, like,
what you gonna say, John?
Them Giants might be back, man.
What you gonna say? Come on,
it might be back. It might be Cowboys and
you want to speak
Giants and
Come
NFC
on, speak
Championship.
it. Speak it, John. Speak it.
It might be the Giants and Cowboys in the NFC Championship.
Oh.
It just might be.
Okay.
John.
All right.
I think the Eagles might get got.
Sure.
John, I just want to say I'm 1,000% with you on if we're gonna dog Mike's pick, cool, right? But when you say none of them make sense, right? Let's not act like no. Let's not do that. No. Let's not act like Brock Purdy didn't have 348 yards of offense, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Let's not do that.
Let's not act like he was under 50% near the end of the first half, right?
Higher QBR, higher passer rate, more passing yards, more touchdowns than Daniel Jones. Let's not do that.
You're not going to count that like 10-yard throw to Debo, and then Debo did the rest for like a 75.
They've been counting those for years. Joe Montana made a career out of it. They've been counting 5-yard dinks and dunks when the receiver break out for years. I'm simply saying a rookie quarterback who wasn't expected to be playing threw for 332, rushed for 16, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, a 131 passer rating, and an 89 QBR. Let's not act like he's not in this conversation. You can have Daniel Jones, no problems with that, but we're not finna dog Brock Purdy like he don't belong in that conversation. That's crazy.
And let me answer some of these comments real quick. First off, to this man right here who is a Detroit fan, if he thinks I'm nervous about that Duke quarterback, he better think again. You better stay off the weed. Okay? Let me be very abundantly clear to this man right here, gentlemen, but I'm calling an audible right here. Dom, if you think that I'm going to sit here on this show, our show, the Sports Arena, and tell you that I'm nervous about the Giants, let me be abundantly clear. I wanted the Giants. I knew the Giants were going to go in and beat the Vikings. It's not about knowing your enemy. It's about knowing your opponent. We have faced the Giants more times, sir, than you have been alive. So don't sit here and try and tell me that I'm nervous about somebody. What I am is focused, dialed in, and ready to go. I expected to see the Giants Saturday night at 8:15, and trust me and believe when I tell you that game is going to have major implications. Here's the one thing I can say that you can't say, and I apologize, Raylan, that I'm about to say this. You know what? My team
don't say it then.
Your team should have been in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, don't say it then if you're going to apologize. You don't let Dom take 10 minutes of the show for you to respond about a Duke quarterback and then dog my team in the process, man. What's it like? What we doing here?
Fire, man.
Ray, it was not you, it was him. You know, it's like it's not Mike, it's them other Cowboy fans. That's exactly what it is.
Gunfire, man.
Eric, I gotta go and pull up all the videos where you talk good about the Lions this year and let Dom get you all off your square.
Okay, all right, fellas, let's take 30 seconds. Show some love to the show as a part of the Sideline Sports Network. Ray's gonna dog me, I know it, and I'm gonna sit here and eat it and take it, but we'll be right back.
I ain't dog.